I'm going to be talking about my role within Sally and my experiences in terms of cosmetic regulations and how they apply to the products that we bring in, and some of the products that I've actually come across, some which I've actually decided not to bring in for whatever reason, for non-compliance reasons, and against the ones that we do actually sell. So it's all to do about the product safety and ensuring safe use. And I'll start my presentation. Slide. Yeah, okay. So just to give you a bit of a background about the cosmetics regulation, they actually came into force in July 2013. That's basically means that every cosmetic product that is put on sale on the market in UK and Europe has to comply with this regulation. So everything must be safe for human use. So it's just ensuring that products are safe, they've got the right chemicals in, there's no banned or restricted ingredients, and to make sure that people enjoy them and they're safe for use. So this regulation is a legal framework which basically there are 10 key principles which the products must comply with before they can be sold on the market. And I'm just going to run through them and also give you some examples or explanations about what that means, so I can understand legal definitions and jargon can be difficult to understand. So the first one describes what a cosmetic product is. So basically anything that is going to be placed in contact with your lips, with any part of the human body, with the teeth, with the eyes, with the view of just cleaning them, maintaining them, fragrancing them, protecting them, or just keeping them in good condition, correcting body odors, that kind of thing. So for this example, like the nail polishes, is actually to change the appearance of your nails and to make them nice to look at. The other thing that you have to ensure is to make sure that there's a responsible person that is listed on the label. Now, I have got an example of what that looks like. I've got an illustration, so I'll show that to you as I go through. Ingredients, third thing, they must be safe, and they must actually be safe as defined by the cosmetics regulation. So you cannot use banned or restricted ingredients. And this is always changing. There's always changes and updates to the regulations, which we're required to keep up to date with. So if there's any further restrictions coming in, we're made aware of them. It's our job to keep aware of them in conjunction with CTPA, other forms of communication that we receive, that there will be a limited life for certain ingredients, or they will be either removed or taken out for use in such products, because as you can appreciate, there's always new advances in science, in development, that new information comes to light. They do studies to ascertain the safety of these ingredients. If they're not safe or they're not deemed to be safe by a panel of scientists, then these will be taken out or they will be reduced. So that's why it's important to keep up to date with this and to ensure that we're selling safe products for people to use. The fourth one is good manufacturing practice. This is about how the products are actually, I suppose, cooked together, from want of a better phrase. Basically how you develop, how you make the products themselves. They must be manufactured in accordance with a good manufacturing practice, which basically means that there's a process that is being followed where you've got traceability of the ingredients in case something went wrong with the ingredients. Now, in terms of traceability, that means like there's a batch number that has been placed on the product, that if there was a problem or there was a complaint or an allergic reaction, that product would then be sent back, received by the responsible person who's putting it on the market. They would then do their background checks, go through the manufacturing document, try to see where the problematic ingredient was which was causing this issue, and see what they can do to actually put it correct. Sometimes it isn't an ingredient issue. It's more of instructions of how you've actually followed the instructions or not. So there's two different things that you have to be aware of. Either it could be a product ingredient, maybe it wasn't quite mixed in properly, or it could be, which is what happens in 9 times 10 of the complaints that we receive. They tend to be the way the product has been used, instructions haven't been used or followed carefully, which is why we do tend to get complaints of allergic reactions. In addition to this, there's a whole suite of documentation that the product must have that confirms the safety of the ingredient. So this suite of documents is called a product information file, which basically contains a series of documents that prove the safety of the product. So the final one that is required, the most mandatory document, is a safety assessment, which actually looks at the product in a whole to make sure that it's been signed off by a qualified safety assessor who can say, yes, this product is safe, and you can market it. Without this valid documentation, you cannot put product on the market. Right, as I said earlier, there are mandatory labelling information which must be present on the label. And I've got an example, and again, as I've stated, I will show you what that looks like. And all this information must be available for the consumer to be able to make an informed choice. Some individuals may have sensitivities to certain ingredients. This would give the insight and information to the consumer prior to buying this, to ensure it doesn't have anything that is going to cause an allergic reaction. So that's why the ingredients are put on there. Sometimes there's claims as well, which may say something like, this is going for a nail product. It could be something like, this is a mild product which is not going to cause allergic reaction. Sometimes you see claims such as hypoallergenic. Claims of those sort, which means it won't cause an allergic reaction, they have to be backed up by either a panel test where there's a certain number of people who've taken part in this study. They've used the products over a specific period of time, and they've come back and there's been relatively little or no reaction to those ingredients. So any claims of those types that you see on packaging, and you do tend to see them sometimes on baby products, just as an example, that would say that these are mild ingredients which will not cause an allergic reaction. Another thing that has to be communicated to the external enforcing authority, which in the UK is trading standards, is if an injury has resulted from a product that has required hospital treatment or time off work. There's specific time frames within which this has to be reported to the trading standards in the UK if there was a serious allergic reaction that required time off work or some serious adverse reaction that required you to go into hospital to obtain treatment. The last thing is where we place products, or a company places products on the market, and basically it is monitored. It undergoes continuous monitoring and surveillance to check that there isn't anything funny with the product that's going to cause a reaction or allergic reactions. Because, as I said, the cosmetic regulations are there to safeguard the safety aspect and safety in use for people who are using these products, because these are ingredients, these are chemicals that have been mixed together in a final product. Although they've been safety tested, it's still important for us for the brand owner, the RP, to monitor any types of allergic reactions or any complaints that are happening, to ensure that it isn't a product specific issue. It's not the product itself that is damaging. And then if it is a product issue, but it's the way the product has been used, we can then help provide that information to give the understanding of how to use the products carefully in accordance with the instructions that they come in, so that you don't get these allergic reactions, you or your clients who you're using these products on every day, so that they're happy, they're safe, they're coming back again to reuse those products, which also gives you confidence that the products are safe. That's really quite important, and that's something that's ongoing to monitor how these products are performing. Now, the essential ingredient labelling that must be on these products are here. So it's a description of the product, which basically says if it's a nail polish, for example, or nail glue, then instructions of use and warnings and precautions. So these could mean that the products are such that a profession must be used by professional only. That is because the ingredient may be quite dangerous, but not in the sense that it's dangerous to use, but in the way it's being used. So for instance, we have these nail glue situations. We sell quite a few of them. Nothing wrong with the nail glue itself, but what we often find is that because people haven't used, the instructions haven't been used carefully, people tend to end up with burns on their nails, or they've dropped it on their clothes. But if you look at the warnings, it will have put on there that to keep away from contact with skin, with your clothes, use on a flat. Sometimes the bottles, they may say use on a flat surface. So if you're like sitting on a chair and you've opened it, you've accidentally spilled it on yourself because it hasn't been opened on a flat surface, that would give you some skin burns because of the nature of the products. It doesn't mean that the product is actually defective. It just means that you need to be careful in the way that you use it. Ingredients listing, again, this is to give awareness of what ingredients are contained in the product, so that if you do have any allergic reactions, then these products can be, this type of product can be avoided. A weight declaration, that's quite normal. Period after opening. This actually means that some products you may see an open jar symbol. Again, I'll show you on the next slide because I'll have a really good illustration to show you. This basically gives information as to how long after the product can be used after it's been opened safely. So some of them are 6, 12, 18, 24 months. So once you've opened it, it's important to note the date that you opened the product, and then within the time frame, use it up, or if there's anything left, then it must be discarded, because after that date, it will no longer be safe to use. So batch numbers I mentioned is important for traceability, and country of origin. So any product that has been manufactured outside of the EU must have the country of origin stated on there. So products are global now. You can get products from America, from the Far East. It's important to understand where those products came from, again, for traceability, to be able to track back right down to the individual ingredients. As I stated, here is an example of actually one of our own Salon services, acrylic liquid products that we sell in our stores. So as you can see, it says it's an acrylic liquid. So if I go through this with you, it says it's been restricted for professional use, and that will be to do with the actual ingredient that is in there. You see this ingredient listing. It gives all of the ingredients have been listed on here. Then you have directions of use. Again, very important to understand, make sure that the instructions have been followed carefully. We've got the weight declaration there. we've got our RP address as well here. The RP address normally is underlined, and that tells you where the PIF is held. That is the suite of documents, safety documents, that will tell you that this is where the documentation is held. And it also helps trading standards in case they can come in, they can ask for their documents, and we have to provide them within a specific time frame. There's also hazardous warning symbols. So right away you can see it's got a flame and a exclamation mark. This means the product's flammable. So again, needs to be used away from any sources of ignition. Any fire must be kept away from those sources of ignition so that you're using the product safely. Again, this is to do with irritation, which says this can potentially cause allergic reaction. So you need to use this without the product coming into contact with skin. So that's for the professional as well as your client, is just to protect both of you while the product is being used. Also, it has the period after opening, which it's not really showing up very clearly, but it can be anywhere between 6 months, 24 months, but it gives you all that details on there. And this information must be on any product that you're buying. This is mandatory information. All I can say is if you do not have products that have this information on, for you to be able to make that informed choice, and it won't be compliant to sell. So it's mandatory to have ingredients listing, the warnings, precautions, period after opening, directions of use. All of this information must be on there to be able for you to use the product safely. What are the consequences of selling non-compliant and unsafe products? Well, these are some of the just some tips to help you. So there are severe consequences if you're not going to comply with the law, and unfortunately, ignorance of the law is no defence either. So there can be quite severe enforcement actions that can be taken against the RP or the person who's bringing in the product, and that can include actions such as unlimited fines and even in some cases periods of imprisonment. Trading standards do regularly monitor the market for counterfeit products and high-risk products which include the following examples. Skin lightening creams containing hydroquinone, which is actually banned. It's a banned ingredient which cannot be used in any skin lightening type of products, which can contain mercury as well, which is also banned for use in these kind of products. Tattoo inks as well, these can also contain harmful ingredients such as lead, chromium and nickel, which can cause skin sensitization and allergic reaction. And also another type of product that is on the radar of trading standards are products containing high concentrations of hydrogen peroxide in teeth whitening products. Strictly speaking, if you go above a certain level of hydrogen peroxide, these are for teeth whitening products. These can only be used by a qualified dentist to be able to carry out those treatments. So these are some of the examples. So I thought I would also share some of my experiences whilst I've been at Sally, of vetting looking at different types of nail care products that have been proposed to bring in to sell in our shops. One of the ones that started quite early after I came across was branded chrome nail products. Some of these didn't have any ingredients listing. There was no ingredients listings whatsoever, so you couldn't tell what ingredients were in these. Also, on investigating this further in terms of obtaining test reports, the products were found to contain high levels of chromium, which is banned in the regulations. You're not allowed to use products containing chromium because they can cause cancer, and also heavy metals such as mercury, lead and arsenic, which are also restricted. Some of them, these ingredients are found naturally, but there are specific processes, manufacturing processes that can limit the amount that these can be in the product. So if they're above a certain level, they're deemed non-compliant and they can't be sold on the market. Another one that is used quite a lot are methacrylate-based nail adhesives. They tend to get, these types of products, which are nail glues, tend to get a lot of bad press, and that's due to the heightened sensitivity which people can have to this ingredient if it comes into contact with skin. Although it's not banned in the UK and Europe, you have to take special precautions and follow the instructions of use to ensure that you don't get contact with the skin, because that's where you do get instances of allergic reaction. Those I would say are mainly the products, especially I would say going back to the chrome nails ones and any kind of these powdery, bright coloured powder glitter products. It's important that they do have the ingredient labels on them, and also that they comply with the regulation. There's safety data to support the safe use of them. Recently, home gel polish kits are on the rise, and with it there comes increased risk of skin allergies, especially if the instructions of use are not followed carefully. I've put together some handy tips here for you to be able to use the products carefully. One of the complaints that we have received, and we do tend to receive, are gel polishes where the brands have been mixed, like you're using the gel polish of one brand, but the nail lamp is of another brand. Now, these have been manufactured for these, the nail lamps used have been tested specifically with the branded nail polishes that are gel polishes that have been supplied with those products. So it's really important not to mix other brands which the products have simply not been tested with. This is where you're going to perhaps get some burning, or the methacrylate will not cure properly. These are some of the issues that have come to light. In instances where the gel polish has not cured properly, you will get sensitization and allergic reactions, and they can be quite nasty injuries to deal with. So I cannot emphasize this enough. It's important to use the same branded nail lamp as the gel polishes that you're using, because they've been tested with those specific lamps. So it's important not to use an unbranded one that you're buying from eBay or something that you don't know where it's come from, whether it's safe for those products. So it's very important to use the same branded nail lamp for the gel polish that you're using to avoid any allergic reactions. The other thing with methacrylates is that you can also develop an allergy which can have consequences for later on down the line with health. And that could be like if you need dental treatments or surgeries. Some of these ingredients have been used for the dental implants or even in the surgeries themselves. You wouldn't be able to have them, or you'd have to go down a different path. So it's not just about the gel polishes that you're using, but it could result in risks in terms of dental treatments that you may need or surgery. So that's why it's important to, again, use the same gel polish brand and LED lamp that has been designed with and sold with. So therefore, skin contact directly with methacrylate should be avoided. So my final parting words and top tips for using products safely would be to always purchase products from a trusted, a reputable retailer distributor that you know. Read instructions of use very carefully before using any products, especially nail glues, gel polishes, nail gel polish removers, just to ensure that you're using the products safely, not only for yourself but also for the clients as well. That way they will come back to you because they know that you're employing these safe practices. Please feel free to share the information and best practice on use of nail products that I've given in this presentation. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to share with you.